Welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Meath Libraries, and this week we're continuing to read The Supermarket Ghost by Gordon Snell, published by O'Brien Press. So, we're on to chapters 3 and 4. So what's happened? Maria has met Davy, doesn't quite know what to make of him. Davy needs her help, so let's see, we'll continue with the story. Chapter 3. My help, Maria asked David nervously. What for? I want revenge. I want justice for my family and our old home. It's because of Paddy Breen that I'm like this. I want to scare him. And your family, your mother and father, are they? Maria hesitated. She was afraid to ask. Yes, all gone, thanks to that rat, Davy said, frowning. Maria couldn't believe it. However horrible Paddy Breen was, surely he wouldn't commit murder. But if he killed you all, she said, he wouldn't be walking around now. He'd be in jail. He didn't need to kill anyone. He just made sure we gave up the shop. He put tins of rotten food on the shelves and put things in takeaway meals. People started complaining, and then they stopped coming to our shop altogether. There was nothing we could do. We couldn't prove anything. In the end, my family was desperate. We weren't making any money and owed money to the bank. Paddy Breen offered to buy us out at a cheap rate. We just had to do it. Maria wondered what happened after that and how Davy and his parents had died. But you just couldn't ask someone, by the way, how did you die? That would sound crazy. And then this whole situation was getting weirder and weirder by the minute. Instead, she said, no wonder you want revenge, Davy. You'll help then? Davy asked with a hopeful smile. I don't see what I can do. First, you can help me find the sign. What sign is that? Maria asked. The wooden sign that used to be over the front door. It was green with big gold letters saying, Duff's Grocers. Paddy Breen took it down and put up his own sign. Perhaps he threw the old sign away, Maria suggested. I don't think so, somehow. Paddy Breen is superstitious. He'd think it was bad luck to throw it out. I'm sure he's hidden it somewhere. Maybe in here. Have you looked for it here? Maria looked around at the boxes and junk piled in the room. I've tried, but I can't move anything, you see. Davy went over to the chair, put his hands out and grasped the arms. He raised his hands to lift it, but they just went straight through the wood. Maria remembered how she had seen Davy himself go straight through the closed door. She suddenly had a shivery feeling as she stared at the boy. He looked real enough, but Maria knew otherwise. She wondered if she was dreaming it all. She shut her eyes tight and then opened them again. Davy was still there gazing at her. Well, he said, will you help me? I'll try, said Maria. She opened a big cardboard box and rummaged among the old papers inside. Nothing here, she said. She opened another box and then another. One was full of old dusty papers. The other had a pile of clothes in it. They were frayed and moth-eaten. She held them up one by one. There was a pair of shorts, some trousers, a brown coat like the kind shopkeepers used to wear, and a tweed cap with a peak. That was my father's, said Davy. Maria held it out to him, but when he took it, his hand just went straight through it and fell to the floor. Maria picked it up and dusted it. She looked at Davy. He seemed very sad. Maria tried to think of something to say. Noticing his bare feet again, she said, We haven't found any shoes, Davy. What happened to your shoes? Davy looked down at his feet and said, Lost in the lake. How? Were you swimming? Maria asked. Davy just shook his head slowly. He said no more. Maria felt so sorry for him. She said briskly, Come on, let's keep looking for that sign. Davy could only watch as she moved boxes, opened a cupboard, and shifted chairs around. She even looked under the bed. Finally, Maria stood up, brushing the dust from her clothes. I'm sorry, Davy, she said. It's not here. We'll find it, said Davy. But there's something else we need to do. What's that? Asked Maria. I'll help you if I can. I want you to write a letter for me, said Davy. A letter to Paddy Breen. Chapter 4. What do you want me to tell him? Maria asked. She wasn't sure this was a good idea. Tell him I want justice, cried Davy. I want revenge, he shouted and punched the air, making Maria jump. Just then Maria heard her father's voice out in the shop. Maria, where are you? Maria? I've got to go, she said quickly, still a bit shaken. But the letter. Tomorrow, said Maria, going towards the door. Tomorrow, said Davy. You promise? I promise. Maria opened the door and went back into the shop and along the narrow passage behind the shelves. She saw her father placing the last loaf on the shelves. I'm sorry I was so long, Dad, Maria said. Her father looked puzzled. Long? What do you mean? He looked at his watch. Maria looked at hers. Startled, she realised it said exactly the same time as when she had followed Davy. Yet she thought she must have spent at least 20 minutes with him. How could no time have passed? Oh, nothing, Dad, Maria said. Paddy Breen came up to them and sneered. Well, Miss O'Malley, I see you've managed to keep things tidy today. No mess on the floor, thank you. She's always tidy, Paddy, Maria's father said sharply. Maria was annoyed at Paddy Breen and glared at him. She thought of what Davy had told her. She got even more annoyed. Can I ask you something, Mr. Breen? She said. Of course, ask away. Did you ever know a boy called Davy Duff? Paddy Breen looked flustered. Davy Duff? Was that his name? There was a Duff family here a long time ago. Maria's father laughed. Come on, Paddy. Is your memory going or what? Didn't you buy the store from the Duffs? Oh, of course you mean those Duffs. Yes, I did. I just didn't remember the boy's name. Maria decided to test him even more. Was there a sign over the door one time saying Duff's Groceries? I remember that, said her father. But how did you know, Maria? It was years before you were born. I just heard it somewhere, said Maria. I wonder what happened to the sign. I've no idea, snapped Paddy Breen. What does it matter? Maria knew it mattered very much to someone. And Paddy Breen might come to think of it, Paddy Breen might come to think it mattered too once he got the letter. She hadn't been sure about Davy's idea of the letter before, but Paddy Breen's replies had made up her mind. He deserved to be scared. Now she was excited at the thought of it. She and Davy would really put the frighteners on him. So, join in tomorrow to see what Maria and Davy get up to. Okay, see you then. Bye.